Welcome to the Color Schemes lecture. As you go through this, please take your notes and jot down any information that you feel is valuable, particularly key ideas, vocabulary words, and then draw some images or side pieces to help you remember what these things are. So why artists plan their colors? Colors can affect the viewer as they look at a piece. They can imply a mood, as you can see in the boat picture. It's got dark on one side, light on the other. You can tell that the ocean is roiling, and this is kind of a dangerous or ominous image. Whereas down here, it's bright and light. So this can also imply feelings, fear, joy. It can send a message. And color can cause an emphasis to either the entire piece, so you'd look at most of everything in here, or something specific. This is what's being shown right there. So color impacts the overall harmony of a piece, so how a piece pulls together, the unity, or the contrast, so whether it's pulling together or coming apart. It can also create a visual pathway. So in this piece, it kind of gathers your eyes to follow the piano, see the numbers and the instruments, and all this other stuff, including right here. There's actually one of the note symbols right there. It gives you a sense of rhythm, and it also can create an emphasis or cause you to pay attention to something very specific. The artist's color wheel consists of all these various colors. And as you can see, it has a triangle right here in the center showing connections between the yellow, the red, and the blue. And then further connections between the green, the orange, and the purple. And a third layer of connections between the amber, the chartreuse, the aquamarine, the indigo, the magenta, and the vermilion. So colors, which are also known as hues, are in several categories. First, you have the primary colors, which consist of red, blue, yellow. These are primary colors because you cannot make them by mixing any other color. However, you can combine red, blue, and yellow in various orders and amounts to create brand new colors. So you can take one primary, such as red, mix it with a little white, and you're going to create pink. You can take green, mix it with a little black, and you can create a dark green. So you can use primary colors plus black and white to make every other color that you can imagine. You have what is known as secondary colors. Secondary colors are created by mixing two primaries together. For example, when you put red and blue together, you get purple. If you mix red and yellow together, you get orange. And if you mix yellow and blue together, you'll get green. So your primary colors create your secondary colors. So you take two of those colors and mix them. The third category of hues is known as your intermediates. And on your color wheel, this will be the weird colors. And this is taking a primary color, such as blue, and mixing it with a secondary. So maybe green or purple or yellow. So this is how you get colors like yellowish green, also known as chartreuse, bluish purple, also known as indigo, and reddish orange. A color scheme is going to involve the role of the color in your piece. As we mentioned before, it can bring continuity. It can create a sense of balance in the piece. It'll evoke feelings. And it'll draw and detract attention. So in this particular piece, you can see there's various colors of oranges and golds, yellows and blacks. And this was planned. A planned organization of colors is known as a color scheme. And they're organized according to their relationship on the color wheel. All these colors are similar and next to each other on the color wheel. So it creates a sense of unity, continuity, etc. We're going to now look at specific color schemes, starting with monochromatic, mono meaning one. And this is going to be a pure color, for example, blue, orange, or in this case, yellow, I think, plus a mixes of colors. This is where you get the idea of tints, and a tint is any color mixed with some kind of amount of white. Or shades, any color mixed with some amount of black. So in here you have a deep dark blue, a moderate blue, a light blue, which would be white, so that'd be a tint. This would be a shade because it's dark. This is even blue, even though it appears white. It's a very, very pale blue, so it's blue mixed with a whole lot of white. This color scheme has some ups and some downs. The ups being strong unifying effect, easy to organize, effective for establishing a mood. The negatives, of course, of a monochromatic is it can be very dull. As you can see here in this picture, everything is purple. So it doesn't really, you don't specifically see anything detaily. And the interest of the viewer can be lost quickly. The next color scheme is called analogous. And this is the colors that are side by side on the color wheel. They're common in hue. And all the colors are made by mixing the same common hues. So every color in this is a combination of these three. This again has its ups and downs. It can be very unifying, so it pulls all the colors together, makes the whole picture have harmony. It's easy to organize because the colors are all very similar to one another. And this color versus the other idea gives you a wider variety of colors to work with. The downside, again, is if you use more than 3 colors, it can dilute the effect. The next color scheme is known as complementary. These are colors that are directly across the wheel from each other. So blue and orange, green and red, purple and yellow. It creates a very strong contrast, sorry about that, a sense of excitement or intensity, and a demand to be noticed on the entire piece or maybe just specific selections. The pros, it's attention-getting, memorable, dramatic. The cons is you have very limited color schemes. We're talking red and green here. It's very hard to plan effectively and incredibly easy to overdo. The next one is the triads of color. So this is 3 colors located equal distances apart, as you can see here in the picture. And over here, purple, orange, green, located in this. There's the primary, this one, which is red, yellow, and blue. And the secondary, which is going to consist of orange, violet, and green. The pros of this, attention getting, as you can see in this piece, the yellow leaves stand out as well as the blue and the red. The colors balance each other perfectly because they're on the color wheel, and it's very bold and decisive, great for advertising. Requires very careful planning in order to avoid the results feeling overwhelming, garish, detracting. Next color scheme is known as a split complement. This one's a little complicated. So it's one color and then hues on either side of what would be the complement. Right here should be purple. So the first color is yellow. Its complement would be violet, but it's not used in here. So it's going to be using the red violet or the blue violet, but not the actual violet. So that is a split complement. Pro is it's balanced, less drama, greater variety. Con is it can tend to be agitating, somewhat overwhelming, and requires, once again, careful planning. But it makes very vibrant pictures. It's one of my favorites. You have the warm and cool. Warm colors are all the yellow undertones. Now, a little color psychology just for the fun of it. Yellow is a light color that says wisdom and optimism. Reds are strength and assertion, passion or romance, and oranges are flamboyant and spontaneous. Cheerful. So those are the feelings that come up with those colors, and they're this part of the color wheel. The cool colors are the ones with blue undertones. And your color psychology here would be a calming effect, says dependability, harmony for the greens, balance, and security. And your purples can mean regal or restful, but it can also come across as threatening and ominous, depending on what you're trying to have your viewer feel. So your cool colors are this side of the color wheel. So warm color schemes make you feel like the impression is moving towards you. Cool color schemes give the impression that the images are moving away from you. As you can see, this is a lot of cool, but it starts to warm up with the yellows near the top. For this unit, your assignments are as follows. The monochromatic, once again, one color. Size is 4x5 up to 11x14. You're going to use pastels or acrylic paint, and you're going to do this on paper. You're going to create a monochromatic piece based on an image that you find somewhere, or you can use something from your head. Borrowed images must be cited. That's 30 points. The next assignment is using a triad or split complementary. The smallest it can be is 3x3. You may use your pastels, your acrylics, your crayon, or colored pencil, once again, on paper. In this case, I'd like you to look up the artist Piet Mondrian or Fritz Glarner. Select one image they already have done, and I want you to recreate it. You can use any of the media that you want. You must include a printout of the original image and the artist's name, date of piece, and piece's name. Again, 30 points. The final is the warm cool. You're going to use crayons or colored pencils. You may use marker, but only as an accent, not as a full coloring. You're going to select two of the designated designs that I have here in class. And then you're going to divide that design in half and color one side with a warm color scheme and the other side with a cool color scheme. In order to get all the points, you have to do two of these. And thanks for listening.